guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm here to film a little bit of a different video. It's part of my back to school series and it's basically relieving back to school stress and anxiety. So how to well prepare yourself to go back to school and to deal with, because it can be really stressful to start a new school year. I am very resistant to change, and starting a new school year is all about change and new experiences, new people, new classes, new teachers, new everything. So it can be a little bit hard for some of us who are maybe a little bit more resistant to change and who were comfortable in our last year's school pattern or just in our summer ways, because let's be real, nobody feels like going back to school, and those of you who do, well, good for you, but I'm not one of them. This is just kind of my tips and tricks on how to prepare yourself. I think being ready and relieving most of your back to school stress and anxiety has to do with being prepared. If you're last minute, you're going to be that much more stressed, that much more anxious. But if you're prepared and you're ready and you know your surroundings, you're going to know what to expect, and it's going to be a lot easier of a transition. So let's just get into this video. So I have before, how to prepare before your first day and after the first week. So let's start with before. So I would say research and plan, like I kind of just said. So plan your school, like obviously you're going to know what school you're going to at this point, but research the school, get to know the campus, get to know the classes, maybe go to school and find all of your classes ahead of time if you're not familiar with the facility and the buildings and the classes, because just that can be very stressful on the first day if you're not prepared and you don't know where you're going. So if you at least are familiar with the area and you know where you have to be, for me at least, that is a huge weight lifted off of my shoulders. So that's the first thing. The other thing, like I said, is do the commute before the first day. So if you're commuting to school and it's a long way, if maybe you live in a suburb and you're going to school downtown, if you're not living on campus and you're not familiar with it, do the commute ahead of time, because you're going to want to get to know if you're taking the train or the bus or however you're getting to school. You're going to want to get to know the area and the route that you're going to need to take, so that not only you're on time, but also you don't get lost, because that would be really bad and really stressful. So that's something you want to avoid. Before I started in university, that's what I did. Me and my mom made a day out of it. We took the train and took the metro and went downtown and, did a shopping day out of it, but we planned and I knew exactly which route I needed to take to get to school, and I just felt a lot better about it. Again, kind of like I was saying, this is all preparing. So find your school and your classes ahead of time, before the start of classes. And also you might want to buy your books before the start of classes, because the start of classes that first week can be crazy and people are just insane and everybody's just as nervous as you are, and there's just so much going on that if you're in the rush and you're with all these people, it can be that much more overwhelming, that much more stressful. So if you go a little bit ahead of time before the big crowds and before, you might be able to calm your own nerves and ease yourself, your own stress and anxieties that you're having, rather than feed it with everyone else's freaking out because they are not prepared like you might be. So first day is all about being prepared / ready and first impressions. So being ready. So I would say have your books, notebooks. I do have notes here. That's what I'm looking at. Have your notes, notebooks, pencils, all of the things that you might need. Have them ready. Be ready on your first day. For me at least, I know everyone's going to have their different way of feeling prepared and ready, and for some people, they rather buy their books a week after school starts. It depends. But for me, I prefer to be prepared ahead of time, because it's so easy to fall behind, especially in university. I mean, in high school, things might be a little bit different, but in university, things are so different, and you can be so quick to fall behind. Midterms are in 6 weeks, so if you're wasting 2 weeks at the beginning of the semester, that's a lot of catching up to do. So I like to have everything prepared so that once I go to school, that's all I have to do. I don't have to worry about getting anything else or stressing about anything else. I just have to go to school, get home. That first day, it's enough to just have to do that, trust me. So have everything that you're going to need prepared. Be prepared to relieve your anxiety. So this is going to be depending on how you are as a person and as a student in the class. So sit somewhere where you're comfortable. If you like to be in the front row, sit in the front row. If you like to be in the back row, sit in the back row. But that's kind of tricky because there are a lot about first impressions. Like, the professor has a lot of first impressions about you. Even though the class might be big, you kind of want to stand out as being either not... if you don't want to stand out and you just want to blend in, that's fine, but you don't want to stand out in a bad way as being the one maybe who sits in the back and is like disturbing everyone. So sit somewhere where you're comfortable, if that's near a door, if that's in the middle of the class, wherever that may be, but just try and give a good first impression. So don't be chatting away like when the professor walks in and is trying to get everyone's attention. Don't be sitting on your phone. I mean, over time those things might happen, but as a first impression, just as much as he's giving you a first impression, he's also on the lookout to pinpoint you and classify you in like a category in his mind of what kind of student you are. So you don't want to be giving the wrong first impression. So sit around people you like. If you have friends in your class, then that's absolutely great. Sit with your friends, but again, try and be respectful and not talking too much and not disturbing other people. But just sit somewhere where you feel comfortable, like I said. So depending what kind of gang of people that is, if you don't want to be sitting near maybe the popular people, if you're in high school, then don't do that. Or maybe if, you know, you're in university and you kind of just want to be near quieter people or whatever that may be, you can kind of get a feel for the class as soon as you walk into it, what kind of people are there and where you want to be. So just try and find your place quite quickly, because people tend to fall into habits and you might be sitting the same place like almost your whole semester, so you kind of want to be somewhere where you're going to be comfortable and you're going to be able to adapt to the people around you. So it is important that first day to make all those decisions. And so I would say it's hard, you know, obviously, because you don't know the people, you don't know the environment. But if you have an idea of, like, for me example, I like to be not in the front, but I like to kind of be in the middle and like closer to the front. And I like to be just to sit there and do my own thing if I don't already know people. So that's just kind of like I know, so that's kind of where I head and that's where I feel comfortable. So if you know yourself and you know what you like, then aim for that and you should be good. Also have whatever makes you feel comfortable. Like, obviously I'm not saying bring your blankie to school or something like that, but if there are things that you know that you need and they make you feel more safe and just more in your own environment, like for me, I always have to have water. I have my phone, but like don't have your phone with you, but I have Kleenex, like all those sort of things. Know that you have everything that you need to be comfortable and okay. That can really help you. Again, trying to do everything to make yourself feel comfortable. You know best what makes you feel comfortable, so follow that lead. Also, a very important thing, make sure to be in the right class, because a lot of people on the first day and week will walk into the wrong class, and it's not that big of a deal, but it can be really embarrassing for you. And if you're sitting in the wrong class and you have to get up and leave, it can disturb people and it's just not the best situation to be in. So make sure you're in the right class. Look at the like what class you have to be in, and then make sure you're in the right class. And also maybe ask people around you if they're in the same class before the class actually starts, so that you don't have to be the one to get up and leave. Often, you know, at the beginning the teacher will mention what section in class you're supposed to be in, and if you realize, you know, pay attention. If you realize you're not in the right place, get up and leave when they give you the opportunity to. Sometimes classes and rooms change, so just be very attentive to that. And lastly, it's kind of just a little more of a silly tip, but it can be, you know, a big tip for those of you who, like me, it's important to. Wear makeup, clothes, and your hair in a way that you're going to be confident. I'm not saying overdo it, go all out. I mean, do something that you're comfortable in, but also that's going to make you feel confident for your first day, so that when you're walking the halls, you're not walking around with your head down, you're walking around with a good attitude, a smile on your face, you're approachable to everyone else, you seem open and bubbly, and people will tend to be, you know, feel welcomed by that spirit and that energy. So if you're putting that out there and you seem confident, then you're that much more likely to have a great first day and also be approached by some new people, meet new people, and have great new experiences. So that might sound stupid, but the more confident you feel, the more you're going to radiate confidence and the better your day is going to go. First impressions. So like I was kind of mentioning before, arrive on time. So one of the worst things you can do probably is be late, especially in college. If you're in college or university and you arrive late, the professor will single you out, and you don't want that. So I would definitely say, you know, I mean, things happen in life. If you arrive late, you arrive late. What are you going to do about it? But do everything you can that morning to arrive like extra early, so that you know you're not going to be late and that everything's going to go smoothly and according to plan. Don't use your phone, like I said. Don't always talk. bring the material, so bring what you need, because you're going, and the last thing I said was be ready to learn and to start your class, because for me in high school we did classes on the first day, because I went to a private school, and some of my friends that, and this is not singling anyone out, like I'm just saying in my experience, I have some friends that went to public school on the first day. They either had some sort of like activity or rally where everyone like, you know, got acquainted and things like that in your class, but for me high school wasn't like that. We started learning and we had like 2 hours of homework the first night, but that's just different for everyone. So depending on where you're going and what level of education you're at, you be ready to learn, because there's a great possibility that they will start teaching you and you're going to start learning the material. You're going to have work and assignments and readings to do that very night. So you have to get out of the summer mode really quickly, and it really sucks, but if you're prepared for that, it's not going to be as hard and it's not going to be as bad to get back into. And after the first week, the most important thing I would have to say is give yourself time to adjust. And by that I mean there are a lot of new things going on. You're meeting a lot of new people, a lot of new professors, a lot of new experiences, and you might feel really overwhelmed. And I know for me, I always cry the first week of school, the first day of school. I just always feel like it's going to be so horrible, and it's just not going to be like it's not going to work out like it usually does, but it always does. You really, you know, we are creatures of habit and we need to get used to things, and so give yourself time to adapt and adjust to the people around you and your new surroundings, and I guarantee that within a few days, a few weeks, it won't be so bad. You just need time to adjust. It's never fun to have to start new things. Well, sometimes it is exciting, so look at it that way. You know, it can be a really exciting new time in your life. You get a fresh start every beginning of the school year, so look at it that way. That's a great way to get yourself excited and motivated, but all I'm saying is don't get discouraged. If you feel like it's too much, it's overwhelming, and you can't do this, you can and you will. Just don't be overwhelmed and discouraged, because it will get better. Give yourself some time. You know, your first week, try and ease yourself into it as much as possible. Keep seeing your friends, keep doing some fun summer-like things, and mixed with your readings and your assignments, so that at least you can gradually get back into the habit of being like at school non-stop, you know? The last thing I would say is start off the school year well. Now by this I mean don't fall behind at the very beginning, because you're gonna wanna, you know, you have a fresh start, like I said, so start off well. Everything that maybe you've procrastinated about before, or you got in a bad habit of doing this or not doing this, get in the habit of doing things right from the beginning, and you're not going to be caught up at the end with a huge mountain of problems and of assignments and things that were incompleted or not done or not handed in, and then you're faced by this giant wall and you don't know how you're going to overcome everything. Start off right. If you start off studying and doing your assignments and homework and readings like from the very beginning, that's not going to happen, and it can be hard to get into, but if from the start you get into that habit, your semester will go by, or your school year will go by so much easier. It will be a lot more bearable, a lot less overwhelming. So that's it guys for this video. Those are my tips and tricks on how to relieve back to school stress and anxiety. I know that this is a very stressful time for a lot of you, myself included. Back to school is a very overwhelming, stressful time, a lot of change, a lot of new things, but it's also a very exciting time, so try and look at it that way. You have a bunch of new opportunities and people to meet, and you really just have to embrace the change and make the best of it. So I hope that this video gave you the tools and some tips and tricks to do that. If you guys have any extra tips and tricks that you'd like to share, please leave them in the comment down below, because I know I tried to make this video as general as possible, but obviously my view will be skewed with where I'm at in school, which is starting my second year of university. So if you guys are a little bit younger, a little bit older, depending on what you're doing, leave your tips and tricks, because it can definitely help one another. It's great. I love our little community of helping each other, so please don't hesitate to leave your comments, and thumbs up this video if you want to see more. I really hope it was helpful. If you have any further questions for me, leave them in a comment. I'm also doing a Q&A. It should be coming out soon, and if it's not already up, then go leave your questions on the video that I did marked leave me your questions back to school Q&A. So thank you for watching. I will see you in my next video. Please subscribe if you want to see more, because I have some more back to school stuff coming, and I really hope that you guys are enjoying this series. And that's it. I'll see you next time guys. Bye.